Hey, people, listen, welcome in the building. Welcome in the building. I'm glad you're here spending trending topics with me. It is Tuesday, trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. And let me tell you something, it's a little wild. Got a couple of update stories, okay? So we might be in it and quit it and hit it. It might be an express train. We're going to see. But I titled it Unbelievable. We got these squatters. We got lies, and we got murder. Squatters, liars, and murder. It's bad, but we got to talk about it. So the first story we're going to talk about is this college track athlete was stabbed to death by the girlfriend, and the girlfriend is arrested. Now, let me tell you something. You know, next month, Diva will be 56. Next month, I'll be 56. To God be the glory, okay? If I make it to my birthday, I will be 56. And let me tell you this. There ain't no man on this earth to this day, to this moment, that I'm going to risk going to jail for. It just ain't never going to happen. I'm not going to fight no chick over no man. I never did. I never will. If the man don't want me no more, I ain't going to say that I ain't cry. That wasn't heartbroken. But to God be the glory, with me and my girlfriends, I got over it. She came home, she in college, destroyed her whole life over a man. Now somebody's dead, you in jail, and you still ain't got him. I mean, you have got to be dumb, stupid, or both. So she came home or from class or wherever she came from. She found her man in bed with the roommate or a friend or whomever. They get to arguing. A knife is involved. He dead. She in jail. Stupid. But we're going to talk about it. May he rest in peace. Just because you were cheated don't mean you deserve to be dead. Do you remember that story we did yesterday? The woman, they said, was the girlfriend, and the man died, and she's staying in a $13.5 million home, and she won't leave. She's a squatter. Well, now they're calling her the housekeeper. She was the living housekeeper. They're saying she's not the girlfriend. This story is all over the place. And remember yesterday, they never told us how he died, because 52 is young to just be dying. Well, they left out some important pieces of the story. He got bopped upside the head. The medical examiner talking about they can't determine the cause of death. And the housekeeper was previously arrested for the DV. Now, y'all know over here, I ain't one to badmouth no cops or nothing like that. I don't do that. But hold up, wait a minute. What is going on with these cops lately that I'm bopped upside the head and you can't determine the cause of death and ain't nobody getting arrested and I'm dead? You know what's interesting to me? And I ain't trying to do the race thing. But if a black person do the crime, they in jail. Now that this crime happened in a $13.5 million home and it's a housekeeper and all that, they can't, all of a sudden, the medical examiners, they can't determine the cause of death. He got busted upside the head. What are you talking about? So we're going to talk about that story. And another thing, listen again. I'm not bad mouthing no cops, no FBI, none of that, but I can't understand how they cannot solve the Savannah Guthrie, her mother Nancy kidnapping. It just don't make no sense. In this day and age, with all this technology, we can't find out where her mother is. It's ridiculous. Then the last story is another squatter. This woman, she squatted in a wealthy area in this mansion, and a college student that ain't had nothing better to do was setting up surveillance, because he probably, quiet as it's kept, he don't want to say it. He was like, how this black woman affording to live in this neighborhood? That's really what it was. But he claimed he saw something suspicious. He started filming her, and she's a whole fraud. And she was online selling to people that she lives this extravagant lifestyle, and she can help you figure out how to do your bankruptcy. See, I'm another one too. I ain't never really fall for all of these scams and all of that. I just was never that girl. When I was working, they used to have these scams on the job. Some jobs were like everybody paid $200 per paycheck into this pool, and then 1 week you want to get $1,500. Then the next turn is your turn. But somewhere down the line, always somebody stopped paying into the pool, and somebody never got their $1,500. I'm good. I don't need to give you $200, so 5 weeks later I get $1,500. I just go down and put my money in the bank. I put my $200 in the bank, and then at the end of whatever many weeks, there go my $1,500. No, I pass on that. She up there scamming the people, taking pictures, and they said in the meantime, the only money she was getting was some money, $400 and something in child support, and then she had her 16-year-old daughter working instead of going to school. And she online fronting and stunting. Listen, people, I done talked enough. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for me to bring the people on in the building. I need a what in the chat. I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Tuesday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about: the squatters, the lies, and the murder. People need to learn how to control their emotions, make their own money, and stop the games. Let me bring the people on in the building. Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, Diva. Choo-choo.
48.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Savannah.
Hey, y'all. Hit the like button. Let's get to sharing the tea.
Okay. Hey, Katrina.
Hey, Diva.
Now, listen. Let me go and share on the screen here. We're going to get right into this story with this college student. It's very sad. You send your kid off to college, and they coming back in a body bag because of some jealous girlfriend. So college track athlete stabbed to death. The girlfriend is arrested. That's him. May he rest in peace. That's the girlfriend locked up now. According to reports, the Jefferson City Police Department was dispatched at 1:09 a.m. on Monday to an address near the Missouri campus. When officers arrived, they found Kayvon Golson with a stab wound to his chest and back. He was airlifted to University Hospital, but sadly succumbed to his injuries. So there he is. They both was running track. It's a darn shame. Danita Jackson, a sprinter on the LU track team, told police that she left work early Sunday night because she wasn't feeling well, before returning home to find Golson, who she said she was dating, in her roommate's room behind a locked door. Jackson told authorities she used a hair clip to unlock the door, and when she did, she claimed she found Golson and the roommate in bed together, clothed. A fight erupted, according to Jackson, who says Golson kicked her in the stomach, knocking her off the bed. She claims he then began choking her. Jackson told police she was able to grab a knife from under the witness bed and under the witness bed and stabbed him before calling 911. When police arrived, Jackson was taken into custody and transported to Cole County Jail. Prosecutors charged her with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. LU released a statement after the incident saying their prayers and thoughts are with the families and friends impacted by the tragic situation. Tragic is an understatement. Just because he's with somebody else, you stabbing him and killing him? In my opinion, your thoughts?
Um, I ain't buying her story
Mm.
because if they behind closed doors, locked doors, so locked that you had to pry yourself in, how you
Mhm.
knew he was in there? It just don't make a lot of sense to me. Um, and who brings a knife to a fight where it's people unclothed? So he ain't got no weapon or nothing. Why would the first thing you be would be a deadly weapon? I feel like these people are doing this on purpose as a means. If I can't have you, nobody will. And they should.
Mhm.
And like I said, if you take a life, you get life.
Mm. Thank you. 48, your thoughts?
Hey Diva panel chat. I agree with, in my opinion. I don't buy her story. It seems it just doesn't make sense. And in the story that you read, you said that they were clothed when she went into the room. So I don't get it, and it's really sad, and it make me, not to be like a Bible thumper or anything like that, but it makes me think like, why the Bible say don't be having premarital sex. The emotions and stuff be getting into it. And I know all of us have been there, to where we've been in a relationship where, like you said earlier, you cry. I was a fighter, everyone knows. I'm just glad that my situations have never gotten to that point where I took someone's life. It's just really sad, but she definitely needs to have consequences, and rest in peace to the young man. And I'm praying for, peace for his family.
Yeah. Let me tell you what Diva believe happened. She knew this roommate was checking for her man for a long time. She suspected it. So when she was at work, she suspected something was going down. She claimed she left work early because she was sick. No, she left work early because she wanted to catch them in the act or catch them doing something behind her back. And when she got there and they was behind in the roommate's room behind the locked door, and she picked that door. I do believe she picked the door. And when she got in there and saw they was in there together, she lost it. And that was costing her everything. And the person is dead behind it. Those are my thoughts though. Katrina, you're up.
Yeah, Diva. My thoughts are maybe she had the roommate to set him up. Because how you knew to leave and go home to saying you wasn't feeling well, and you get there, the door locked, but when you get in there, both of them are closed. And why did your friend have a knife under her bed? Because she said she grabbed the knife from under her friend's bed when he was choking her. So
Mhm.
I think she had that. I think she had a roommate to set him up to see was he actually cheating. I'm not saying this gospel, or I'm not saying this the way that it happened, but this is how I see it. Cause she leave work, she come home, she picking the lock, the doors and stuff is locked. They're closed. They got on clothes, as you said in the article, and her and the guy started fighting, and he was choking her, and she said she got the knife from under the bed. So what was the friend? What was the roommate? She didn't try to break none of this up when the man was choking her. She didn't try to call 911. I think they stopped this guy up to see was he cheating, and he fell for it. And rest in peace to him, because nobody life should be taken. If you think he's cheating, you got to put that much work and worry into a relationship, baby. You need to let that relationship go. Cause I'm not finna be worried and worried and thinking about what my man is doing. I'm not gonna go that way. It's gonna have put wrinkles in my face. No, ma'am. So if you already knew that you thought the man was cheating and you did this to set him up to make sure, and that's what happened. But that's the thing. If you don't want to be with a person, let that person go. Because you don't know how that person is going to react or how they feel when they do catch you in this act doing something. I mean, the heart is very, very strange. You know what I mean? Maybe she was in
Mhm.
love with him. Maybe it's this. But baby girl, if you already suspect that he was cheating, you should have let that relationship went right then and there and found you somebody else. Because the friend is out, he's unalived, and now you're in jail. So who's the winner? Other than the friend, which she shouldn't be no winner either, because that's gonna play on her as well. Because it's always gonna play in her mind, like, okay, he was messing around with me. Maybe I caused this unaliving. This is weird and crazy mess. But like I said, if you don't want to be with a person, just let that person go and stop playing with people's hearts. But rest in peace to him. That's all I got.
Thank you, Savannah. Your thoughts?
I agree completely with the rest of the panel. I'm sitting here thinking that I've never been in a relationship where, as it was coming to an end, or I've caught someone being unfaithful or disrespectful, that I took it to a level where mentally I'm thinking I need to unalive this person. And so I'm struggling to figure out, how do you get to that level? And my understanding these are young folks, correct?
Yeah, they're in college. They was college students.
Okay, that's
Both on
that.
the
All right,
track team.
that's what I thought.
Both on the track team.
Both on the track team. I don't know if it's social media or just a sense of entitlement, or if they have can't deal with emotional intelligence. I don't know what it is with this young generation where immediately they go to unaliving instead of problem solving or just walk away. Walk away. They absolutely give no regard to what consequences they could face when you do some action that you can't take back. You can't walk this back. You can't get away from this. You can't claim, even if you claim mental health and you get some type of, light sentence, but your life is now altered forever. Someone's no longer here. That family's life is altered forever because of your actions. So it's a domino effect of hurt, anger, bad decisions, and you're still in your 20s. So I absolutely agree with everyone on the panel, but there's something wrong with our youth, and I just don't understand where the void is.
Yeah, very sad. Julius, your thoughts?
Okay, so I'm gonna come right out and say it. I don't have sympathy for this little bird, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. On social media today, there is this trend to test your man to see if they cheat. That's been going around. I always say this: if you don't want to be with me, don't cheat on me. Let me have my good cry, and I'll move on. Because there's plenty more fish in the sea. But at the same time, I know how to be single. The Some of these major young folk that are younger than me have the tendency of, I just don't want to be alone. I gotta have someone to love me. No, you want the wrong person to love you. You want the wrong person to say they love you. Then you turn around and do this. Mm-mm. She, I think they are. This is my thoughts. They broke up. He broke up with her. He started to go with the roommate. She came home, lost it. He tried to tell her to calm down, and she stabbed him. In the way of, if I can't have you, no one can. I believe that is the case, but it's all alleged. These are just my thoughts. Um, because I don't believe her story. You can't go to zero from 1,000 in 2 seconds. She had to plan this, and yeah, and she's right where her little butt belongs. I said it.
Mm. It's very sad because a young man is now gone. And for
Hey,
what?
Dave, can I say something?
Yes.
Um, so these young girls these days are very possessive.
Mm.
Um, just seeing the kids at these colleges now, they're not like when we were growing up. These girls are aggressive, they possessive, they feel like they can put their hands on men. And true enough, some people have been raised the right way, but I feel sorry for some of these women because they gonna meet the wrong kind of man that doesn't have a respect for them and is gonna do something to hurt them. And so that's the reason why I think these stories are so relevant these days because these women are atrocious. They're not being taught at home. They're being taught by social media and movies.
Mm. All right, I'm going to go ahead and roll right into our next story. Our next story is an update from the one we just did yesterday with this billionaire and the alleged girlfriend not leaving the home. Now they're finding out that this was the live-in housekeeper who got a little sketchy pass. All right. So Squatter posed as financial advisor in 2.3. Oh, this is not the one I want to show just yet. Hold on. I'm sorry. I picked up the wrong one. There we go. So, New York City squatter case takes a dark turn as mattress exec family demands police reopen probe into his death, as post reveals the housekeeper's prior arrest. So, remember yesterday they claimed it was the girlfriend that wouldn't leave. It's the same woman's name, but it's not the girlfriend, it's the living housekeeper. This is a mess. The bitter legal fight over a $13.2 million trophy Upper East Side townhouse and the housekeeper who allegedly squatted inside has taken a far more serious turn. Family members of the late mattress entrepreneur Craig are calling for police to reopen the investigation into his 2025 death at the newly surfaced records revealed that his live-in housekeeper, Hillary Page, had been arrested for an unrelated assault just weeks before he died from blunt force trauma to the head, the Post has learned. The news comes on the heels of an unusual lawsuit recently filed in Manhattan Supreme Court. The entity that owns the 6,650 square foot property alleges Page remains in the home with no right and that she's blocking estate reps from entering. In part, Craig's estranged wife and trustee, 45-year-old Sarah, to retrieve family heirlooms. The suit aims to remove Page from the home and seeks $49,000 per month in use and occupancy. Page did not respond to requests for comment. A message seeking comment from the ex-wife was not returned. That is the housekeeper. That is her mugshot from being aggressive to somebody else. This is a picture of the Craig who is covered in blood after the alleged assault. Craig 52 was found unresponsive in November inside his four-story limestone mansion at 111 East 81st Street, a stately residence just off Park Avenue featuring carved marble fireplaces, soaring ceilings, formal entertaining rooms, and a landscape garden level. An autopsy by the Office of Chief Medical Examiner determined his cause of death was subdermal hemorrhage due to blunt force trauma to the head, with chronic alcohol use listed as a contributing factor. The manner of death, however, was ruled undetermined. Despite the shocking finding, the NYPD has said the case is closed. There was no criminality, a department spokesperson told the Post. How am I bucked upside the head and nothing is wrong with that? But relatives say the case should not be considered settled. We still do not know how he sustained the blunt force trauma to his head, a family source told the Post. Given what we witnessed directly of Hillary and her actions and her volatile behavior, I even spoke to the detective and argued strongly that I do not believe that it was an accident. Records showed that Page 66 hired about a year before Craig's death to serve as his live-in house manager, was arrested on September 27, 2025 on assault and harassment related charges stemming from an incident at the East 81st Street residence. It left Craig injured, with an image provided to the Post showing blood dripping from around his left ear and staining his white dress shirt. Craig did not press charges. That was his nature, the source said, adding that he liked to give people chances, despite several of us advising him that we felt otherwise about her and her intentions. This home is absolutely gorgeous, okay? Gorgeous. Page had originally been brought in to manage the townhouse while Craig traveled frequently for business, according to the family source. He needed somebody at the house just to manage the day to day maintenance of the home. Page lived in one of the guest bedrooms and sometimes traveled with him, the source said. But tensions inside the home allegedly escalated over time. According to the family, Craig had previously told relatives that Page struck him during arguments. I do not know that she has been known to use objects in the house before, such as a fireplace stroker, to hit him. A bottle, the source said. He told me. Those claims have not been independently verified, and no criminal charges related to those specific allegations were publicly confirmed. Family members also described confrontation when they attempted to access the home after his death. The locks have been changed a few times, the sources said. But as a squatter, apparently according to the New York City, she still is allowed to obtain a key even when those locks have been changed. According to the court filings tied to the Manhattan Supreme Court lawsuit, his ex-wife described Page as extremely hostile and says she blocked the estate from entering the home to inventory artwork, jewelry, and a sizable wine collection. In one recent effort to gain access, she wrote that she and an attorney rang the doorbell many times, pounded on the door, and even threw snowballs at the window. According to the complaint, once the door was open, Page ran toward the door screaming, and both sides contacted the police, who ultimately instructed an state representatives to leave. The family source said that Craig had been trying to remove Page from the home in weeks before his death. He actually said to me that he was working on a bunch of things, including the ongoing divorce and trying to remove this crazy lady he referred to her as from his home, the source said. According to the family source, Craig had previously confronted Page about leaving. He said, "I want you out of my house." She said, "I'm not going anywhere. You can't get rid of me." The source also described what they characterized as aggressive behavior. Has a very aggressive personality, and she has a very short temper, the source said. Craig is not a conflict person, so he didn't really want to get into an argument with her because, especially, she's living under the same roof with him, and that would just carry on into a screaming match for hours. Relatives further alleged Page was inside the East 81st Street townhouse the day Craig died and said they remained troubled by the blunt force trauma determination. Even a fall down the stairs on a parquet flooring would not cause the level of head trauma, right? The source said. The blunt force trauma is what really sticks out to me. Still, police have maintained there's no criminal aspect to the case. I was extremely disappointed when I spoke to a detective and he told me that they had closed the case, closed the investigation, the source said. I don't understand how this can be the case. The source added that relatives are now discussing potential next steps. I'm talking with some other family members and we're trying to reopen it. This is very sad. This woman is dangerous, and I do feel that she killed this man. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Oh, she definitely did.
Mm,
Um, Let me tell you something. I don't understand these medical examiners. All of a sudden, we can't tell if somebody was unalived or if they fell down the stairs. We can't even tell if a baby breathed or not no more. I mean, all this medical equipment that we have that's gonna be updated, all the special tests y'all can run to find out this stuff, analysis that can be ran, and we can't tell a cause no more. I say we going back into the dark days. I don't know who she know, but she knows somebody. and they helping her swing through the bushes because normally you wouldn't get away with this. She already got a criminal record. She done already put hands on them. And what police officer ever come and take somebody word that's no, we ain't gonna prosecute. Normally now, if hands are thrown, regardless to who, you going in.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand this. This whole case is mind-boggling, really. And oh, she definitely would be getting out of my house. You done killed my husband. You definitely getting out of my house, okay? You ain't staying there no longer. I can't trust you because you was already trying to unalive him. I wonder what it was that was in that house that she wanted so bad to unalive this man. Because now she done cut off her source of income and she could be facing charges. This a whole food though, but I can tell because them crazy eyes of hers. But she a whole food. She definitely did it.
I appreciate you. 48, your thoughts?
Yep, I agree with in my opinion. One of the things that I don't like, I feel like the medical examiners and police and stuff, they need to do a better explanation of explaining the causes of death to families because it seems like they just tell them, well, yeah, he just fell or, it was just sudden and that's it. Maybe there needs to be a change in that. Like you have to really sit down and tell the family and have someone explain it because like in my opinion said it doesn't make sense. And even in your story when the kind of floors that he has there it made it seem like even if he would have fell down the stairs he possibly could have still been alive today. um I don't understand as well, like in my opinion said, when you're fighting in a DV situation or even like employer, why wasn't the aggressor removed? I don't understand that part either. I think that I don't know if she has anyone working for her, but squatters like they know a whole bunch of stuff, you know what I'm saying? So she might know some things that we don't know, but they definitely need to look back into his case. I wouldn't let it go if I was his ex-wife. And then too, I don't understand why these people that make so much money, even if you can afford it, why have people live in your home? Like
Mm-hmm.
they have services like Molly Maid and Angie's List where you could go onto these sites and you can get someone to come in for an hour to 12 hours and just do it that way. You know what I'm saying? Like we have this conversation a lot, me and my friends, like they all want to, if we hit the lottery, everybody's going to buy a big old home and I'm the only one diva that wants something 300,000 paid cash. I could clean my own bathrooms and everything. I'm like that now. Like the only thing my kids got to clean is their room because they can't clean the bathroom like I want it. They can't clean the kitchen like I want it. So I just do it myself. So to people that can't afford it, just think about that. Not having people live in your home, but just pay them for the service for that day and just let them go.
Mm. Very sad. Savannah, your thoughts?
Fighting with the mute button. So my position doesn't change from last night. I don't care if you're the maid, the girlfriend, the pet sitter, the dog walker, the ghost whisperer. You getting that out of my house. That is a $13 million home. And I do believe that there is some foul play. But I also think that if this is a different level of money, that either the wife is got her hands dirty too, or because this man also was involved in some lawsuits with other people against him, that maybe they paid this maid off or something. There's so much more to this story, just how we were able to uncover. We did more than the New York Post did yesterday when they posted, or the Daily Mail when they posted this story. But This this family, this mattress giant, he was on a whole different level when it came to money and finances. And I know he had a couple lawsuits against him and his company. So definitely look at business partners. But I side-eyed it from the moment that they said that the case was closed, that there's nothing to see here, move on along. I've watched enough SVU to let me know that, yeah, there's a cover up going on here. And I don't know if it's one of the lawsuits, a business partner, a business deal gone wrong, and the maid is involved. Because they even though he's not there to give her funds anymore, there's still money in that house. That artwork that was in that home is worth millions of dollars. And he had other items, relics in that home. That's why the wife wanted to get in there to care for the artwork and get some of these family heirlooms. So there's still money in there that this maid could be selling and getting items in there that are worth money that she could be selling to still fund her life. Although he's no longer there, 'cause that mortgage is about $50,000 and it's going to be due soon in about 3 more days here. March 1st, somebody's going to have to pay those 50 G's to continue staying there. So I think that this story is, there's still more layers to it, and I think it goes deeper than just the maid being involved. I think she's either an accomplice to someone, or she's got a lot to gain.
Mm. Katrina, your thoughts?
Um, yes, my thoughts are, if first they say she's the house manager. So I guess she was, taking care of the house when he was traveling and whatsoever. And they say he was drinking. Was he an alcoholic? I'm not trying to put nothing bloody over his name. I'm just asking this question. And my thing is, if she got arrested once before for DV on him, basically when they let you out on bail, you can't go around that person, or that you can be arrested. So how does she have access to get back around him? Because
He
when you
never
have
pressed charges, Katrina.
she did what now?
He never pressed charges.
But I'm saying, even if the police took her down, because when you get in a situation like this, if the
Didn't take her down. I think that case where the DV is a separate incident. That has
oh, okay,
nothing to do with,
okay.
yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
he's the fool then. If he want to be up there getting bopped side the head, and he said that he wanted to get her out of his house, he should have took way more steps than what he took. I don't know if he went to court before before he was unalive, or whatever happened to him, because if this woman doing all this, you didn't press charges, and that's one way you could have got her out your house. If you sit up there and press charges, they could have had her arrested, and then therefore she couldn't come back around him, because you can't go back around a person if you committed DV on them. If you do, you're going to jail. So that could have been a way to get her out the house, unless more was going on in the house than house managing. Was he sleeping with this woman or what? Because that was his out right there. If she had bopped him side the head and he's bleeding whatsoever, she should have been arrested, and he could have signed for restraining orders and did all that. And that way she couldn't get back into his house, because if you got DV charges, you can't go back around that person. So maybe he was sleeping with this lady. Maybe he seen that she had hard times. Something is not right here. And by them saying that she's the house manager, last night she was the girlfriend. It was more going on than that house manager. It had to be, because he's a fool. If somebody done popped him side the head and he keep letting them come back in his house, and he had a way to get her out of there and he didn't. And for the like Savannah said, if nobody pay that mortgage, who's gonna pay it? So if the wife doesn't pay that mortgage, the house gonna end up in foreclosure. So that wife is gonna keep paying on that house until she get that person up out of there. Other than that, doing eviction and all that. But if she don't make those payments, the house is going to go in foreclosure. So if she wanted to keep this house whatsoever, she got to make the monthly payment, the mortgage on the home. Um, and as we saying, And if she going out there selling this stuff out this house, which is not hers, that considers stealing. And anybody buying it, they can be arrested as well because you buying stolen products. Um, this is a lot. DB, you stay on top of this story because it's a lot of twists and turns, and it's just something that's not adding up. But we'll see how this turns out. That's all I got.
Thank you. Julius, your thoughts?
This is confusing to me. So yesterday, now correct me if I'm wrong. Yesterday they said she was the girlfriend. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now today she the house manager. He he was bopped upside the head. He had head trauma. Blood dripping onto his white button up shirt. Okay. They showed a picture of her bug shot. She knows somebody in city government. There's just no unholy way that she doesn't know somebody. I mean, dang. I know people who are conflict avoidant, but let me tell you something else. If they want you out their property, they gonna make some noise. And as Katrina said, they had to been doing more than house managing. Now I hope all of the family heirlooms and the artwork is still there, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. Now this story is suspect to me. I feel like another bomb is gonna drop tomorrow. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Felicia, your thoughts?
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm glad to be back here tonight. So they got my girl Paige out there. They got a couple of bad photos of her out there. Well, she looks like she's been wilding out in that place uptown. But I like this added story. And Julius, you're not the only one confused. I'm confused too. I don't know who she's going to be tomorrow. She going to be the banker? She going to be the chef? She going to be the artist in training? I don't know. But it seems to me like they have a big problem because, well, it seems like the owner, based on what I heard you read, had a major drinking problem, and he probably felt a lot of shame behind it,
Mm.
and that's why he didn't want to put Paige out on the street because she would pick him up off the floor and wipe up his vomit when he got in bad spaces. So he felt maybe that he owed her some kind of respect. So he was also a DV victim. Yes, he is. And probably the ex-wife was beating his ass too. So the women were just beating him up, just beating him up. And he didn't have any self-esteem, major problems, making money, losing money, can't keep up with his business. And now he's gone. And they're saying it could have been, but it's not. The matter is closed. And so the ex-wife, she's upset because there's money in there and she wants the valuable things in the house. So she's going to have to go through the system, not the New York Post, to get this woman out or get her arrested. Somebody should get her arrested, no? I mean, she only beating up on her former boss? You know, it sounded to me like the white version of Sean Combs' child. These people do too much. I said it yesterday. I don't like none of them. And I still don't. So it sounds like a lot of stuff was going on in there. And they're going to have to unravel all of that to find out who is a beneficiary to this business, this estate, and all of this wealth. But I think this is a cautionary tale for folks who keep hanging out with people who don't care for them, don't protect them, don't love on them. They beating you in the head, taking your money, and you dead, and now they're going to take your property. Well, I mean, the wife said she was in there looking for a new will. Scary. But I wish them all the best over there. Glad that I don't live in no $1 million mansion. I don't give a damn how gorgeous the place is. It's full of evil and hate and death and murder.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and roll into the last story. And the last story is also an update. It's the story where this woman was squatting in $1 million home. She got arrested. Right after the arrest, she went right back to what she want to call her home. The squatter posed as a financial advisor in the $2.3 million mansion, but lived off of food stamps and sent her daughter to work instead of school. The report states. A Maryland squatter posed online as a financial advisor, but was actually living off food stamps and sending her 16-year-old daughter out to work instead of school while hiding out in a $2.3 million mansion, according to a report. Tamika Good, 40, who recently returned to the ritzy 7,500 square foot home in the suburbs of Washington, D.C., presented herself as a bankruptcy expert, forging $800 courses online and sharing social media posts of her Porsche. In reality, however, she was a squatter, living on a total monthly income of $946, which included $538 in child support and $408 in food stamps, according to bankruptcy records obtained by the Daily Mail. And that is her. She is a shyster. She built this presence online, showing off the house, teaching people how to do bankruptcy stuff, and charging $800 to do bankruptcy paperwork. And she herself doesn't know how she is doing. And the courts are trying to hold her in contempt. 19-year-old neighbor Ian Chin told the Daily Mail. Chin, a pre-law student at William and Mary College in Williamsburg, Virginia, became suspicious after Good moved to the next door mansion in a leafy Bethesda, Maryland, where the previous owners faced foreclosure, and the bank took possession of the home in the summer of 2025. Her parents, he uncovered the paperwork alleging that far from a self-made success, Good was actually a bankrupt lieabout who sent her school-age daughter to work in a nearby Paris baguette bakery. Her parents did not work, Chin said of Good's daughter. She wasn't going to school. She seemed to be working and was the only source of income for that family. This was her online post bankruptcy service, $400. Meet the one, I guess, was her tagline. We will assist you in preparing your Chapter 7 bankruptcy petition, guiding you through the process step by step. Limited time processing and pricing and slots available. This is not an actual appointment confirmation. Payment secures your spot. A non-refundable payment of $400 must be sent within 2 hours via Cash App. Chin, who set up cameras to film Good living high on the hog in the mansion, claimed that multiple neighbors reported the situation to Child Protective Services, but no action was taken. What followed was months of intimidation from Good, including a brazen lawsuit against Chin, accusing him of stalking and trespassing, which was quickly thrown out by a judge in the District Court of Maryland. Good jailbird husband, Corey Pollard, briefly lived with her in the mansion, Chin told the Daily Mail. He was rearrested in early December for allegedly stealing vehicles from a Pennsylvania dealership, but was later released before being arrested again on January 23rd, according to court documents. Pollard is in the Lancaster County Jail on a $500,000 bond ahead of his next court date on Friday, records show. Good was finally convicted of breaking and entering and trespassing in late January and was sentenced to 90 days at the Montgomery County Detention Center. But the shameless grifter was out just 2 weeks later and moved straight back into the mansion on February the 2nd. Chin called the police on February the 10th when he saw Good outside the house moving items into a U-Haul truck, and she was rearrested. Good appeared at a bond hearing at Montgomery District Court via Zoom on February 13th. Her tan prison suit, a far cry from the designer outfits she flaunted online. She was freed on a $5,000 bond ahead of her next scheduled court hearing on March the 30th. The Maryland home has had its doors and windows boarded up and his locks changed to keep Good and other would-be fraudsters out, Chin hopes. She, Good, truly believed that she was entitled to this property. They really tried to hide and just fly under the radar and think they were going to get and not think they were going to get caught, he said. So that is an update. We talked about it before, but in the story before, they didn't tell us that her daughter was working. Her daughter is young. Her daughter wasn't going to school. She was getting food stamps. This is a disgrace. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So she a whole hot mess.
Mm,
Let me tell you something. People like this, there's a place for them, and it's not in society with us.
mm,
It is really hard for people to get on assistance and to see somebody abuse the system this way. Not only abuse the system, but then she takes something, a home that the bank owns, and her shiesty husband that keeps stealing and going back to jail. They stealing all this stuff and flaunting it on social media. And somebody's out here gonna give her $400, $800 for a class that they can find out how to do bankruptcy for $100. This is shady. It's shiesty, and she is below the scum of the scum.
mm.
I really hate that this is happening, and I hate it when it's always one of us. I really think we got to get bigger laws in place for when these people abuse the system and abuse assistance, because she shouldn't be out on bond. She shouldn't be.
She shouldn't be.
They was criminals from the get go, and these criminals went on to do bigger and better things. This is where our justice system is not so just, because while they out here harassing people that they shouldn't be harassing, we got fools running around taking from the people that really need the assistance and robbing from people who only is looking for help. This is sad.
Thank you. 48.
Yeah, I agree with in my opinion as well. And I also think that um if I don't know how old you said the daughter was a minor, right?
Uh-huh. 16.
So she should go to jail for that too. Why isn't your kid like in school? Why do
Mm-hmm.
they have her working to take care of the family? And to Chin, I know that he did a good thing, but finding it out. But like the lady said in the chat, I was thinking the same thing until you kept reading the story. I'm like, why is he like all in those people business? You know what I'm saying? I'ma just I ain't gonna go where I want to go, but he did eventually, I guess, through the situation, helped out the daughter. So hopefully, Child Protective Services could come in and she could get with some people, some adults that could teach her the right way, because she's about to enter into adulthood and she grew up around scammers and fraudsters.
Mm.
So I hope that they can, help her out. Yeah, that's all I got, Diva.
Yeah, you right. She grew up around schemers and frosters. Savannah?
Well, I can understand why the neighbor was spying on her so hard. I mean, that's Bethesda and 48. You know, in Bethesda, if you don't belong there, they're gonna look at you twisted and side eyed, and they know who. You know, they know your car. They know who your peoples is, who lives in that home, because this is the real Potomac. The real housewives of Potomac live in Bethesda. The ones that know better than to come on TV, not these broke down plastic wannabe Barbies that are on that show. So I can understand why the neighbor was watching out, because it didn't look right, and he knew it didn't look right, and he was right. So I'm not side eyeing the neighbor too much, but I always go take it back to the internet because it has allowed these scammers and hustlers and swindlers to they now have a new platform that they can go on and hustle people from all around the world, globally, basically, with zero repercussions of what they're doing. They can be selling all types of snake oil and programs that have not tested to be proven true. And people are gullible and vulnerable and will buy into these programs thinking that it will improve their life in whatever way their services are offering, whether it's cleaning up your credit or making money quick online on TikTok. I'm constantly seeing these things on TikTok about making money quick online. So I really hope that she doesn't hide behind Section 230 and that she does pay some type of restitution for whoever and how many people she has squandered out of money. Um, but the neighbor, I'm not side eyeing him. I think that that's to be expected in that area. I just these squatters. I think the laws definitely have to get tougher, and they have to start facing some jail time. Because if any story deserves it, I think she deserves it quite the most.
I agree. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, Diva. My thoughts are anybody that's going through bankruptcy or got credit problems, um, dispute it. Dispute it around the holidays. Cause see, they got 30 days to reply. They don't reply in 30 days, it has to come off your credit. These people, when you go in these credit solution places, they give you those what you call it numbers. I forgot the name of them, but they give you these numbers of people that's dead, and the people find out about it, and then you end up in jail. So the best thing to do, clear up your own credit. You don't have to pay nobody to clean up your credit when you can do it yourself. Um, what else? With her and that scamming husband, that's ridiculous. That's totally, totally ridiculous. They scamming all over the place. And then the thing with her not being in school, she's 16 years old. At 16 years old, you can drop out of school and your parents don't have to face any consequences. But with the food stamp things, like, did she give somebody else address? Because how she's getting food stamps saying that she stay at that address? Because you have to give an address. So she must gave from somebody else's address or sister, cousin, whoever, and milking the system. So she's staying in a $13 million house, but you driving a Porsche and you receiving food stamps and a child support. And another thing, if you up there,
A $2.3 million
oh,
home,
2.3, yeah, $2.3 million. Sorry about that. You
and it's
receive
not based off of where you live. It's based off of what your financial status is.
no. Yeah,
And
I'm saying that, but I'm just saying, Diva, if you living in a 13 million, I mean a $2.3 million home, how in the world are you receiving food stamps? Because if you stay in that type of home, you can't receive food stamps because of your income. Your income bracket has to be over. Anytime you making over $1,300 a month, you disqualify for food stamps.
her
But
address doesn't matter though. She
I
was
mean,
only getting child support, and
I
then
know.
child
And then
support.
that's another thing too. She's getting, I'm not cutting you off, but she's getting child support and she receiving food stamps. First of all, she's on the internet saying that she's charging these people $400 for credit repair classes. She's on the internet saying she does that. And then if her child is working, that goes with her income as well. But the thing of it is she's a scammer. Um, and with the address thing, it depends, Steve. I'm telling you, it depends. It depends on where you live, how much money you're making, and how much you're paying in rent. Because if you got a $2.3 million home, you staying in a $2.3 million home, your income has to be up there. It has to be over that level of receiving food stamps. But either or, she's still a scammer, and it doesn't. That's not going to change. The husband is a scammer as well, and they need to be locked up. But the neighbor, I wouldn't be out there on TV publicly saying that you the one calling and doing all this, knowing that these people are scammers. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it anonymous. You're not going to know who I am because who to say what they can do to the neighbor. and the neighbor up there on TV and all that type of stuff. Maybe that's his, that's his protection or whatever. But sometimes you have to be careful, especially when you're dealing with scammers and stuff like that. They're doing anything to get what they want. You have to be careful. But yeah, those scammers need to be in jail. They need to be in prison. That's all I got.
Thank you. Julius, your thoughts?
Get rid of the scammer. Get her child to some actual adults that could show her the right way. Lock the person up. Get tough on these squatters. That's it.
Thank you. Felicia, your thoughts?
There's a new thing out here, huh? Uh, just live up in other people's property, you'll be all right. There's something to this. There's things we don't know how you get to do what you're doing, but they figured it out. I think my co-counsel had good questions because even when you do receive some kind of government assistance, you do have to say where you're living. And then they go in and they ask, well, how much is your rent? And then you got to bring in some kind of certification as to what that rent is from whomever it is you're renting from, whether it's a room or an apartment in a building or anything. So she figured out the whole system. Unless she's got 2 identities or 3 identities. Maybe you should have her up on the show, Diva. Because listen, and she got a YouTube channel. So what do they say? She's on public spaces telling us how she doing what she doing. And they can't keep her locked up. And it seems like they haven't really charged her with anything. Because she was able to go right back to this house that they say is now boarded up. I don't know what it looks like boarded up, but whatever it is, she still finds it comfortable. Meaning, I gather there's running water and there's heat and there's AC and all that other good stuff. So she's figured something out. And so did Paige. So the 2 of them, they know how to do the darn thing. It's us idiots out here trying to pay all this damn rent and ain't got no heat and hot water. Well, I'm done.
I appreciate you. Listen, guys. 2 stories was an update. One story was introduced new. It's just very sad that now you got to be afraid when you send your kid off to college and something like this happens. May he rest in peace. And unfortunately for that girl, she ruined her entire life because she's probably going to spend a good amount of time behind bars. The squatters, the one squatter in the $13.5 million mansion, it is my belief that she took that man's life and she needs to be locked up. I'm baffled at how the police closed this case and they think all is well. Sometimes I feel like multiple people are in cahoots to get people's money because something about this just don't even sound right. And I'm sorry. Oh, she got to have a key. Well, you know what? You squatted in my home and I'm going to change the locks. And now I'm going to sit outside that door because you're going to have to come out at some point to do something. And then I'm going to go in there. I'm going to change those locks and we're going to squat together. You need the key back? Well, I'll give you the key. Now we're going to be in here together. Me and my whole family until you leave. And this last squatter, what she's doing to her daughter, I forgot who said it, but they right. Deplorable. This girl grew up with 2 scammers for parents. And I don't even know if the husband that is locked up is this girl's father because they said she's getting child support. So she got a scammer mother, a scammer stepdaddy, and it's a darn shame. And I wonder where she's living at now. And I wonder where the daughter was every time the mother ended up going to jail. It's a hot, stinking mess. But I appreciate y'all. Y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo, choo.
Choo, choo, choo.